Good morning from Epcot, where today we're here bright and early with one thing in mind: Test Track. Test Track has recently opened here at Epcot, and today we're gonna try and ride. Of course, our first order of business was to pick up a new park map. We got Test Track right there on the front. Let's open this up and see what it looks like. All right, here it is, Test Track Reimagined, presented by General Motors. Discover the future of transportation on the thrilling road to tomorrow. Very Epcot. Now, because this is such a new attraction and it only opened like the other day, outside of previews, which I unfortunately was unable to do, just couldn't get in for any of the previews, AP or DVC, for the record. We're actually going to rope drop, like really rope drop today. We're not hanging back over there like we normally do. No, we're making our way into the belly of the beast. So let's make our way over, find a shady spot, hopefully we can find one, and wait it out. For those of you who are wondering, it's currently 8:15, and yeah, the park opens at 9, and some of you are gonna be like, well, why would you wait for, 45 minutes? And then however long I might have to wait to get on the attraction, why not just show up later? Like, this is the debate about rope drop, but it's a beautiful morning. Got a nice cold drink to sip on. I mean, what am I gonna do? Hang around somewhere else? Or I could hang around here. Oh yeah, that curb is calling our name. All right, well, I guess I'll see you guys here in like 45 minutes, give or take.
Yeah.
All right, the rope has dropped and we are making our way in. It is about 3 minutes before 9, and it is kind of like a mad dash. 2 really big attractions out this way, but you know, it's to be expected. It's part of the fun. Now, I don't know if I mentioned this ever before on the channel, but Test Track was one of my favorite attractions when it first opened, which was back in 1999. I feel like there were so many great attractions in 1999. This rock and roller coaster. Of course, we are bypassing the queue today because we're a single rider, and I really want to ride the ride. We can check out the queue some other time when we're here with Russ. I want to see the attraction.
We've always been dreaming about the road to tomorrow.
And now we set a course for the future.
Before we can visualize tomorrow, we have to start by looking at the world of today a little differently.
Whew, that was pretty good. Good enough that I might buy a pin. Let's see if they have a good pin and maybe a good t-shirt. I would buy a t-shirt too. Let's see what we are working with. Cadillac. Look at that shirt. GM. GM. Come on. Okay, so a Cadillac t-shirt aside, we don't have any Test Track stuff in here. Like, seriously, Cadillac. GM, which is the saddest shirt I've ever seen in my life. GMC. GMC. What is this? An EV shirt? Buick. Buick. GMC. GM. GM. Trucks. Chevy. 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 Corvette. 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 Corvette hat. Pink Slips diecast, which they sell these at Target as well. They have a really good selection. I actually like those. I don't own any, but I like them. Where's the Test Track stuff? Maybe over here. Well, Corvette. Cars. Chevy truck, Corvette. Where's the test track stuff? So I want to talk to you about test track. I want to share some of my thoughts with you, but first, a rant, because I have to get this off my chest before it sours the rest of our discussion today. Recently we've been talking a lot about how I think that Disney has dropped the ball in a number of different ways, like across what they do here at Walt Disney World. And one of the ways that's come up in some of our past discussions is merchandise. How there's just money left on the table because of poor planning and bad management and, I don't know, people who seemingly have no idea how to do this thing that Disney has been doing for however long they've been doing it. Disneyland just celebrated 70 years, right? So it's been a minute. The fact that there is absolutely not one piece of Test Track merchandise in the Test Track gift shop for the opening week of Test Track, I don't even have a word to explain how I feel about that. Like, mind blown doesn't even say it. This is a new attraction and a popular attraction at this park. It's one of the original pavilions, and I know it's been redone multiple times, but this is World of Motion. My God, it's Test Track 3.0. They knew this was coming, and this attraction's been down for quite some time. Long enough that they could have, I don't know, put in an order for some merch. And I'm not saying like a huge line of merchandise, Disney previously had like little toy cars you could put together, all that stuff. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about a t-shirt with the same print-on-demand quality that they have basically everywhere else, and some Disney pins that say Test Track, or even some of the old pins available in that shop. We combed the whole place, not one thing. Not one thing that referenced Test Track. GM here, Corvette there, which makes sense because this is brought to you by GM, but not one Disney branded thing for this new attraction. Not a opening day of Test Track reimagined, woo. None of that. And I asked a cast member, and she said next month, which is wild. And I want to be very clear, like, my reaction is not toward the cast member because, she just shared information with me that she has, which may or may not be accurate, by the way. Sometimes cast members have info and it turns out to not be the right info. It's, they're just doing the best that they can most of the time. But the idea that maybe next month there would be merch for Test Track? It opened this week. Seriously? Seriously, that is wild. And if I'm being completely honest with you, I don't even know if I'll make a point to get it when it does come out, because now I've got like this bad taste in my mouth about it. I mean, I'm here for opening week. I know it's just a reimagining, but still, it's a new thing. I want to commemorate that, like, now, not a month later when it's an afterthought. Just absolutely wild to me. Anyway, let's find a shady spot where we can sit down and talk about this attraction, because it is all new, kind of. So I say kinda, that it's kinda new, because the ride itself is not new. They're still using the same attraction, the same layout, if you will, but it has been rethemed. So rather than being what it was before, it's been updated with a bit of a new story, a little bit more modern, a little bit more relevant, and definitely a little bit more effort put into the attraction. I mean, obviously times have changed, so technology used in auto manufacturing has changed, and that's highlighted in this new attraction, which I think is super interesting. Whether you're into all the tech in cars or not, I kind of like when things are basic, says the woman who drives a manual with no power locks or windows, But I do like the way that it's presented, and I do like the way that they talked about it, but also there was something about this attraction that really hit me right in the feels. Specifically this moment where you're like driving the twisties out in the mountains. It seems like, you're like in the forest, there's trees and there's an overlook, and it speaks to why those of us who love cars. And I know that this is going to be like a weird thing to add here, but I know that some of you out there who are automotive enthusiasts will know what I'm talking about. But like with all the technological changes, with the way that things are being updated in modern day vehicles, sometimes it feels like the spirit of driving is going away. And I love that even though we talked about all these things and they were highlighted in this attraction, I love that the spirit of driving and adventure was still in here as well. I can't remember the line that they said, but it was something like,
Enjoy the ride.
Sure, it's always fun to be free.
and I just love that. I also really loved the last scene. You kind of make your way through what used to be like just a tunnel before you exit into that, monorail, before you exit into, or out of the building, I should say, and you swoop around as the fastest part of the ride. I love that it encouraged us to think about what vehicles of the future would look like, and it just, I don't know, it just made me feel something for the first time in a long time at a Disney attraction. So, yeah, I liked it. Now, are there any areas that could have been executed a little bit better? Yeah. If I'm being really picky, I could point to a few areas of this attraction that to me felt very much like a standard Disney redo. You know, like put up some black fabric and maybe a couple lights, call it good. But at the same time, so much of this attraction was done in a way that, at least in my opinion, feels intentional. You know, like it feels like they were like, oh yeah, this is something that we want to stick around and not just like a temporary fix where we're blacking everything out, adding some lights, making it look futuristic and calling it good. Which is what we got with Test Track 2.0. It's one of the reasons I did not like it, but you know. I also wish that they would have had some cars out in the center of the loop. You guys know what I'm talking about? Like when you're going fast outside the building, you take a big loop, and generally speaking, they put some cars or something down there. Right now, it's just an open, empty space. So that's kind of disappointing. If they didn't want to put any cars out there, I would have loved to see like the Test Track logo. That would have been cool, you know, just like painted, or a big decal or something like that. That would have been nice. But, you know, my list of things that I didn't like about this attraction, this reimagined attraction, is much shorter than the list of things that I did. So, you know, and of course, it's fast, it's fun, so that's great. Most people don't drive around in a convertible at 65, so, you know, that's pretty cool to be able to do that. And banking around the building is just, it's fun. It's not something that everyone has the opportunity to do. So the thrill is still there. I like that we're talking about innovation again in a meaningful way. And I love that it still kept that spirit of what it is to drive. Those are my thoughts on Test Track. But anyway, let me know your thoughts on what you think of this new attraction, if you've had the opportunity to ride it, or even if you just have seen like people talk about it, chit chat, and I haven't seen too many people talking about it, so I'd love to know if you've heard from anybody and what are your thoughts based on what they had to say. Also, is this going to be on your must-do list next time you visit Epcot? Tell me about it in a comment. But yeah, that's all for now. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you guys soon. Till then, bye.